New York Giants training camp positional battles. The New York Giants have a lot of positions where there isn't one clear-cut guy that's going to be taking over our starting spot on the team. So in this video, I want to break down some of the positional battles that we will be having in training camp next month. I'm excited for it. Leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. Who do you think is going to, find the starting spot for the guard positions? Who's going to end up being that wide receiver 1 for the New York Giants? Linebacker 2, all that good stuff. Let me know down below in the comment section and let's talk about it. But also, leave a like on the video and definitely hit the subscribe button and join the channel if you haven't done so already. But let's start with the offense. Let's start off with the offensive line. The guard position is going to be a very interesting tale that we're going to have to watch and keep an eye out on this training camp for the New York Giants. Now, some of the, competitors, or I guess you could say, guys, runner-ups, whatever you want to call them, that are going to be in the race for that starting guard spot, left guard-wise, is Ben Bredeson. Now, he basically had that spot, for last year. They were still rotating guys in at that position. They had him, Josh Ezeudu, who's a third-round draft pick out of North Carolina last year. They had Jack Anderson when Ben Bredeson went down with injury. Ezeudu went down with injury, so he rolled in as that, starting guard. That's going to be a position we got to watch out for. That is going to be a position that we have to watch out for. Now, Ben Bredeson during Giants OTAs was the guy that was rolling out with the ones, but Josh Ezeudu was a third-round draft pick last year for the New York Giants. They are not going to just, not give him a chance to win that starting spot. And I hope this year we don't have to see guys rotate in and out like last year. They also had Nate Gates rotating in and out at guard. He's now with the Washington Commanders. But I just want to see who is going to end up taking on that left guard spot. As of right now, Ben Bredeson is the starter. So I will say he is the favorite. He has more of a, feel of the Giants offense. Ezeudu was a rookie last year. He dealt with injuries last year that kept him out majority of the time. So as of right now, training camp wise, I have Ben Bredeson, as that slotted in left guard. Now, also, does right guard end up being a position that someone could win? Glowinski is the veteran. He is, on not a huge contract, but he is on a contract with the New York Giants. But he's not a guy that we can just say, hey, he's going to be the starting right guard, because he was not good last year. So if Ezeudu and Bredeson are battling it out, or if any other guy is battling it out at the left guard spot, could they possibly end up taking the starting spot from Mark Glowinski on the right guard spot of the offensive line? I also want to talk about John Michael Schmitz, the second-round draft that the Giants took in the draft. And just, the offensive line coach of the Giants, Bobby Johnson, said to himself that him battling up against Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams during training camp, day in and day out in practice, is really going to help him. And I can't agree more. I just couldn't agree more. I'm already confident in John Michael Schmitz. I was ecstatic when we, drafted him. And just him as a rookie going up against one of the best interior defensive linemen in the league in Dexter Lawrence, that is really going to help him. It's really going to, advance his development this year for the New York Giants. So the offensive line, though it is, a question mark, and though there is going to be positional battles, they do have guys like John Michael Schmitz, Evan Neal needs to take a jump this year on the offensive line that could end up, rounding out. It's probably a decent offensive line for the New York Giants. Now, next, we're going to stay on the offense. Let's talk about the wide receiver 1. Now, right now, we can all agree that the Giants don't have a, solidified wide receiver 1 on the depth chart, on the roster. But if we look at, what we've been hearing out of OTAs or off season, Paris Campbell has looked it really good for the New York Giants. Isaiah Hodgins has looked good for the New York Giants. Darius Slayton has been on the team longer than any of them. So who will end up being that wide receiver 1 that the Giants throw out there? Now, Hodgins has the build. He's 6'3", 6'4", real good hands. Do they throw him out as the wide receiver 1, or do they give it to Paris Campbell, the guy who has been shining out? Do they start him as wide receiver 1? Basically throw Isaiah Hodgins at wide receiver 2, and maybe they throw Darius Slayton in a slot. So that's another thing we got to look out for. The Giants wide receiver room, though it doesn't have a number 1 guy, it is definitely deep. And even after the 3 wide receivers that we talked about, Slayton, Campbell, and Hodgins, who have been the 3 guys that have been rolling out there in ones for the New York Giants, you still got guys like Sterling Shepard, who's looked great coming off of that ACL injury. You still have Wan'Dale Robinson, who the Giants took in the second round, who a lot of people project to be the starting slot wide receiver when he is 100% healthy and ready to get back on the field. But then you still got Jalin Hyatt. You still have Jalin Hyatt after mentioning those other 5 guys. Then you got a guy like Bryce Ford-Wheaton, combine freak, undrafted signing from the New York Giants. Do he end up finding a way to make it to the practice squad or even make a way onto the starting roster? You still got Colin Johnson, who, like, though he was hurt last year, missed the whole season with a torn Achilles, has still shined out in the Giants OTAs. And you still got David Sills. So the wide receiver room, though it doesn't have a number 1 guy, it is still a very, very deep position group for the New York Giants. I just cannot wait to see those guys battle out just in general with as many buys we have at the wide receiving spot. Now let's transition over to defense. Let's talk about one of the positions that I think is one of the weaker on the Giants defense, and that is linebacker 2. Now, Micah McFadden was, I think, the 5th round draft pick out of Indiana for the Giants last year. He has been the guy that has been rolling out as linebacker 2 next to Bobby Okereke. But the Giants still have Darian Beavers. A lot of people like Darian Beavers. You know, in training camp, he looked good. In preseason, he looked good, then got hurt. Was out for the whole year. Does he find a way to take over that linebacker 2 spot from Micah McFadden? Maybe. You still got guys like, you know, Jarrad Davis, who I thought was brought in here just basically for depth reasons. But who ends up taking that linebacker spot, that linebacker 2 spot next to Bobby Okereke? Now, I'm not as worried about it. I don't think it's, you know, anything to say the Giants defense can't be great because we don't have a great linebacker 2 next to Bobby Okereke. I just don't think that. As long as we have that linebacker 1, which is a well upgrade from last year with Jalen Smith and Jarrad Davis and Tate Crowder starting linebacker 1, Bobby Okereke, better than all of them. Better than all of them. So, linebacker 2 is another position that is just, we don't have a solidified guy. It's another position where we don't know who's going to be that starting guy in September. So that is going to be another positional battle for training camp for the New York Giants. Let's talk about the secondary. Let's end it all with the secondary. Now, y'all know me. If you've been watching the videos, when we have brought up the 3 guys I want starting at cornerback for the New York Giants, of course, it's been Adoree Jackson. Of course, it's been Deonte Banks, who's the first one draft pick out of Maryland this year for the New York Giants. But the 3rd slot cornerback that I've been asking for was Cordell Flott. Cordell Flott looked great in that last game versus Philadelphia, and I was looking at him to be that starting slot guy. But during Giants OTAs, we're looking at guys who've been rolling out with the 1s and starting, 7-on-7s. It's been Darnay Holmes. Now, a lot of people have mixed, opinions on Darnay Holmes. Some people think that he's not as bad as other people. Now, me personally, when we look at last year, we look at the scheme of Wink Martindale's scheme. It's very man heavy. It's leaving guys on an island. You're by yourself. You're one-on-one with wide receivers. Darnay Holmes doesn't really fit that. Very undisciplined. Got a lot of pass interferences, defensive holding penalties last year, and he was cooked. He was cooked last year. So do the Giants have him slotted in because, Cordell Flott's a rookie? Do they want to bring him up? Do they want to, groom him a little bit more before they give him that starting spot? Is that why they have Darnay Holmes there? I don't know. But you still have other guys, too, on the roster, like Amani Oruwariye, who the Giants brought in, in free agency. Though was coming off a bad year last year, he had a 5 interception season before, a pretty decent season with the Detroit Lions. So what if he is able to kind of replicate that type of season for the New York Giants if he's able to find a starting spot on the team? You still got Aaron Robinson, who dealt with, a season-ending injury last year, but if you look at the stats and you look at what he did in the one game he did play, he didn't look that bad. So maybe he finds a way to probably slide in as that slot cornerback who a lot of Giants fans said when they drafted him, even though Joe Schoen and them didn't draft him, was basically brought in to be the slot cornerback. So the Giants have 3 slot cornerbacks that I think could end up winning the job. Darnay Holmes, who's gotten the reps at 1s, during Giants OTAs. Cordell Flott, who I really think should win it, who I really think will win that spot. I like him a lot. He got some muscle this year. He's not as skinny as he was last year. Like he, got a little jacked up a little bit. And you got Aaron Robinson. So we'll see who ends up winning that starting slot spot for the New York Giants at the cornerback position. And then, of course, you got, the strong safety position. Julian Love was a free agent, ended up signing with the Seattle Seahawks. Basically was the guy who was, the duct tape of the defense of the secondary last year for the New York Giants. I think he played all the games. He's gone now. And right now, when we look at what we've seen out of OTAs for the New York Giants, they have brought in Nick McCloud to be that starting strong safety opposite of Xavier McKinney. Now, Nick McCloud last year was one of the guys we didn't want to see on the field, because if he was on the field, that means Adoree Jackson was hurt. So moving him to safety, does that change things? Does that make him not look as bad as playing him at the corner position? The Giants also brought in Bobby McCain, who caught 2 interceptions, I want to say, on day 1 of the Giants' mandatory minicamp. You still got Dane Belton back there. The Giants drafted Javarius Owens out of Houston, and I think the 7th round this year, or 7th, 6th round, I'm not sure. But that's another position that is up for grabs. It's like not a solidified guy like it is at full safety for Xavier McKinney. He's been wearing the green dot. It's not like that for the opposite of Xavier McKinney at the strong safety position. So y'all let me know how y'all feel, man. Those are just some of the position battles that I think is really going to be something we have to look out for this year in training camp for the New York Giants. Either way, I'm excited for that. I cannot wait. I just can't wait for it. I love training camp. I love seeing 11 on 11s, offensive line versus defensive line, Daniel Jones throwing at the wide receivers against an actual defense. I can't wait to see it. I cannot wait. So, like I said, leave down in the comment section your thoughts and everything. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and leave a like and definitely hit the subscribe button and join the channel. But until next time, it's been your boy Jay Dimes, and we are out. Hope you guys enjoyed. Go Giants.